Welcome, everyone, to the Elevator Show. I'm Kirk Buchner, along with Chris Mouradian, and this is where we look at the past month and say, hey, who went elevator up? Who went elevator down in their individual Hall of Fame pursuits? But before we do that, we're going to encourage you to do something. Pause right now. Actually, not right now. After you hear this, then pause. Go to www.theusahof.com and vote on who you think should be a part of the third class of the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. It's a really cool project that Chris and I are a part of, and along with a lot of other people, some people that you actually may know, some people who are actually in various halls of fame, some people who have actually played in some of these great sports. Not us.
Not at that level, anyways.
No. Well, me definitely at no level. I'll say that openly and honestly. But it's something where it combines all sports. We've got 17 sports on the docket, and you can help decide who are the greatest and most important sports in the most important sports nation that ever existed, the USA.
100%. Yep. You can vote daily. You can vote. There's 3 different categories. You got the player category, you got the coach category, and the contributor category. Encourage you to vote in all 3 categories. The more people that are out there voting, the better the sample size will be, and the more thorough the vetting will be of the candidates for this year's class. So tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dad, the creepy guy down the hall, let him know too. Everybody's welcome.
Depends how creepy he is. Maybe you don't want to.
Use your discretion. That's right.
There you go. Send him a message on that particular one. And as Chris said, every day, because you can vote every day. Every day it becomes wide open again for you. Yeah. So, I mean, technically it's not like a real ballot, but it's the United States, so really it is.
Just think of it as like, a Chicago presidential ballot. You can vote multiple times.
I don't know the reference, so I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
This was co-created by a Canadian who doesn't know all these things. But that's okay. But as far as elevator down, it's up someone Jerry. Oh wait, he's already in the Hall of Fame. Jerry Jones. God damn it!
I know. I keep. Yeah. He's had a rough go of it the last month or so.
I swear, if we could create a Mount Rushmore of people who've gotten into an actual Hall of Fame, he'd be right there with Alan Eagleson. I'm glad you actually got that reference. A lot of people listening probably do not.
Yeah, he was somebody early in the 80s, I think, maybe even late 70s. Let's see, player side.
Yeah, the Players Union in hockey.
Players Union,
Hall of Fame, yeah. Where, I Chihuahua. Well, yesterday I'm just going to open it up if you're okay with that.
Yeah, sure.
Yesterday we did a show with our good friend Dave Whitlock, not an all-in, where we talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about, and we discussed the Steve Ballmer Kawhi Leonard situation in Los Angeles, where basically Kawhi got either a sweetheart deal where he got $48 million for doing nothing, or B, he got $48 million for doing nothing that was facilitated by Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers. Kawhi's Hall of Fame status will not be affected, regardless of what happens. It should, but it won't. But Steve Ballmer's will. I don't think Steve Ballmer was in any real Hall of Fame hunt at this point. If you're an owner, yeah, you can enter without winning anything. We just saw that recently with Simon, the owner in Indiana. I forgot the first name, but it doesn't really matter. So it can happen. And Ballmer's, as I said yesterday, is the type of owner they want because he's got a lot of money and he's good for the league. Not necessarily good to other owners. So I don't know if he's going to survive this. I think he will, as I said yesterday. But the Clippers can have a dynasty and he won't get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's a very likely possibility here. He's probably going to be the one that comes out of this looking the worst out of the bunch and everything's said and done here.
You're right.
The
'Cause even if he's acquitted, there's always going to be that, I don't believe you.
mhm. Yeah, and the NBA does have a little bit of a reputation of kind of making things happen that they want to happen. That is somewhat obvious to many people, but they continue to pretend that it's not to everybody. So yeah, he'll come out of there with having to most likely pay a fine. Maybe the team loses a draft pick 10 years down the road when they have a draft pick.
Right.
But at the end of the day, yeah, it's really going to be one of those things that makes some headlines on some sports websites and is forgotten a couple weeks after the fact. So
Mhm. Yeah, and again, it's always going to be the Clippers. Always going to be the Clippers. Doesn't matter. That team is cursed.
yeah, moving back to Buffalo.
I was a kid growing up in Toronto. I didn't even know they were around.
Yeah, Buffalo Braves. Yeah,
I had no idea. Of course, I wasn't really into basketball back then in the 70s when I was a little itty bit, but still.
yeah, Buffalo to San Diego, became the San Diego Clippers, and then to Los Angeles because San Diego can't keep a sports franchise. It seems like.
Just the Padres, who are always going to be cursed.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to open up with that. I
Yeah.
yield the floor to you, sir.
All right. Well, kind of speaking of San Diego, kind of, sort of, partially, now known as the Los Angeles Chargers. And this was more of a nothing he really did, just a really disappointing, frustrating situation. And that's Rashawn Slater, who in training camp blew out his knee and is going to miss the season this year. Coming off his second Pro Bowl season, he fortunately got the proverbial bag before the knee injury happened.
Good one, yeah.
So, taken care of financially that way, but really just a disappointing situation for a young offensive tackle that was really starting to make a name for himself in the league, starting to pile up some of the postseason accolades. Like I said, last season was the second Pro Bowl season. Once the offensive linemen, once their name starts to get out there with the Pro Bowls, usually the All Pros start to follow shortly thereafter. So just a shit situation for him, disappointing. Nothing he did to make him an elevator down, but it's just going to be something that kind of stalls his momentum there. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Great point.
No, that's a really good one. Pretty much the rest I have are baseball, except for one, so I'll just do that now. It's always easy whenever there's a big UFC fight, so I'll just do that. Elevator up. So UFC, it's Khamzat Chimaev. He won the middleweight championship, and whenever you're sort of a champion in UFC, it's a hell of a lot easier to make it into the Hall of Fame. It doesn't hurt that he's right now, as of this speaking, undefeated at 15-0. There's not a lot of undefeated champions in UFC, and he's one of those gentlemen who can say that. Not a big marquee name, but Dana White doesn't always look at it that way, so I think that's a clear elevator up.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, becoming a champion in the UFC is, you may not be a household name, but you'll become one shortly thereafter because you're going to be up there headlining matches coming up here. So congratulations to him. And that's a nice pull there. So I have one non-baseball, and then the other four I have, the 2 ups, 2 downs, are also baseball. So I'll go ahead and use my next elevator up on somebody we've talked about a few times here, somebody I've been kind of pointing out as the season's gone along here. Alex Palou from IndyCar, the world of IndyCar. He did with 2 races left, he clinched the 2025 IndyCar championship. So just to kind of show how dominant his season was, that with 2 races ago, he was still, he had already had it sewn up. So his 3rd consecutive championship, 4th in 5 years. Right now, you just have to say he's the best driver in IndyCar. And over the last few years, the talent in IndyCar has really ramped up here. Alex is one of these one of the younger racers in the series still. You know, he's been there for 6 seasons now. First year with Dale Coyne, and then was elevated to Chip Ganassi Racing, which is one of the, if not the best team in IndyCar right now. So just keep piling up those wins, those championships. The one thing he didn't do is he did not. He had a chance to tie the all-time record for most wins in a season. With would have tied him up with AJ Foyt, but needed those last 2 wins to get it. And competitive, and was there with chances in both races, but wasn't able to pull it off. So still a fantastic season for Alex. And like I said, we talked about him a number of times. Now it's official that he's got the championship. So probably not much more he needs to do to be a Hall of Famer in IndyCar, but we'll point him out anyways.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so when we talk about this as an elevator, let's look at it as an actual elevator. And have you ever been in an actual elevator, Chris,
Yep.
where some shitty little kid comes up? Usually it's when you're on vacation,
Mm-hmm.
and then he hits every single button.
Mm-hmm.
I know I was that kid.
Yeah, I've done it myself.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that kid has done that for Elevator Confused, and that's Rafael Devers.
Okay.
And this guy fascinates me. It wasn't all that long ago, 3 months ago, where I ripped Boston Management. You helped me with that.
Yep.
I
remember
Florentino, a Dominican baseball player who knows Rafael peripherally, friend of David Ortiz. And he was saying, and I agreed with him at the time, clearly Boston really doesn't want to have any more Dominican athletes for them. But then what happened? This was a weird trade in that it was a mega trade early in the season.
Mm-hmm. It seemed to come out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Yeah, exactly. Out of nowhere. And San Francisco was peaking at the time. And as we learned, well, here we are in early September. Boston looks like they're heading to the playoffs. San Francisco has been shit since they got Devers. Devers has not been shit. I think that's a misconception. Yeah. Has he been as good? No. So here we are at this point. 73 games in Boston. He had 15 home runs with a 905 OPS. 72 games in San Fran, 16 home runs, and an 827 OPS. So we can agree he's been better in Boston. I think a big part of that, you can just sort of like use Fenway Park. Mm-hmm. Just for that. It's a much more hitter-friendly field.
Yeah, for sure. San Francisco is one of those famously known pitcher parks.
Right. But Boston didn't make any other moves. Well, they did add one pitcher, but that didn't really make any difference. I forget who from LA. But they're going to the playoffs. San Francisco is not even going to be close. There's a stink there. Whether it's accurate, whether it's not, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not in the inner sanctum of this, but you got to wonder about that sort of thing. Devers was the best player in Boston. He's now the best player in San Francisco. Wherever he goes, I mean, he was already a champion, but I mean, it's a weird thing. Hence why this is the first time I've ever said there was that little kid hitting every button. Like the elevator is confused. It's on the fritz. Because Devers is actually on his way to one of his better years. This will be one of his top 3 seasons in baseball.
Sure.
Now, if you look around everything in San Francisco, there's not a lot of whole talent. Like everyone else, it was fool's gold, basically. It was the pyrite when you're sort of like doing mining. So San Francisco obviously made a mistake. They're gunning for it. Boston, sure, I said it then, I'll say it again. They sure could have gotten a hell of a lot more for this guy.
You'd think.
Yeah. If he was definitely going to be on the market, but maybe it's one of those things where you don't want to sort of like put him on the market, let everyone know, and then just sort of like have that weight in the clubhouse.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
There seems to be a little bit of that going on lately with Dallas with
Micah.
Luka.
Luca. Sorry, I thought they were,
Yeah.
because we were talking about Micah Parsons.
Yeah, where it seemed like it was just between them and Los Angeles. This one just seems like it was between Boston and San Francisco.
How happy were you when Parsons got a sack?
Yeah, it let out a little cheer in the house here.
A little bit.
A little bit. But yeah, and that one too. I mean, yeah, there's other teams that seemed like they were involved, but not really to the point where Dallas was going to entertain. They're not trading him to Philadelphia, and Carolina wasn't willing to part with a piece that Dallas wanted back. So, I mean, at least there was a little more, but it did seem like Green Bay was kind of the front runner, the one that was, if it was going to happen, it was going to be them from the start. But getting back to Devers there, it is an interesting case for him because, like you said, he hasn't really regressed going out to San Francisco. It's not been as
good. He's like built it back up.
Yeah. Overall, he's right there. He wouldn't look at it and go, he's hurt the team or he hasn't been as advertised or however you want to, word it there. So
we'll hear anything about him being an issue there.
No, absolutely not. I mean, the trade at the time, for what it's worth, probably cost him an all-star selection because, he had gone from the American League to the National League, and it was early enough in the season where, he wasn't able to carry that over to the National League. It wasn't like he was selected and then got moved over or anything like that. So,
right.
Like I said, for what that's worth on his resume at the end of his career, it probably would have been one, but no, it's not. But yeah, interesting. We'll just have to wait and see how next year goes with how San Francisco approaches it this offseason with rebuilding their team.
Yeah. We're gonna have to do a baseball playoff preview where every round you're gonna say Milwaukee's gonna be eliminated.
Are they even gonna make it?
Yes, they're making it.
Oh, that's disappointing here.
My God, but though it's probably the same people who are looking at me like, you love the Raptors, but you hate the Maple Leafs. So, okay. Yeah.
Well, I can understand that though. The second part.
You are. I love the fact that if you say like, hey, come to my place in Wisconsin, all I have to do is find the only one with a flag that's got a Canucks flag.
Right now it's the
Packer flag. Okay.
Yeah. But we'll get the Canucks flag up when their season starts. So we'll fly at least for opening night. And they'll probably put the Packer one back up. But yeah.
Turn left of the flag, and then there you go. Right with the pickup truck.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, like I said, I have 2 up, 2 down in baseball. Coincidentally, my 2 up are both Boston. So I'm gonna go there first.
Go ahead.
So I'll start with left-hander Aroldis Chapman. In August, he signed an extension. So he's gonna be back in Boston for another season. And based on it was August last, I believe last month, early in August. Yeah. So based on his success this season, being able to run it back with a team that seems to be built for success here. They're starting to integrate some of their young talent that's been maturing in the minors there, getting them some major league at-bats and some exposure. Having a closer like Chapman, who's been through the ringer out there, doing it at a high level for a number of years now. It helps Boston out going forward, and it's another season where you can probably expect him to be about what he was this season, which he's got an unusual career path, having come from Cuba at a little bit of an older age. That he's he missed a little bit of his earlier career, but he's definitely put up the numbers. It'll be interesting to see. When he does decide to hang him up, what all the accolades are that are on his resume. But being back with the team that's poised to win some games here for another season. Just helps him out to build that resume. So
Yeah, I was going to actually take him again for the second month in a row, but
yeah,
I did notice as of this recording, because he actually lowered his ERA under 1.
yes, I'm looking at that. Yeah,
Yeah. God damn it. I hope, 37. I hope he's not on the juice.
yeah. I mean,
You always have to wonder about that sort of thing.
you do.
I
He's been
I'm going to sound awful saying this, but fuck, I'm going to call it as it is. 8 times out of 10, whenever someone's caught, usually they're from the Caribbean.
noticed that as well.
Yeah, so
Or Miami, just inside of Miami. So
yeah, exactly. Rock. But
yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, and I hope that's certainly not the case, because watching him this year has been inspirational.
Yeah,
I love what he's doing. I think if he gets in the Baseball Hall of Fame, this is the year that sort of made that happen. Actually, I'm and that sort of segues. I was gonna do him again twice. I decided not to, so I'm actually gonna now bypass him for somebody else.
Okay,
Not bypass, but I'm gonna go out of my order.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Just keep it with the relievers.
Okay.
I think someone I've talked about before, Kenley Jansen.
Yeah.
Who's kind of compiling. He's not obviously having the same year that Chapman is, but Kenley's also another one of those guys, a former Red Sox, just like one of those guys who just seems a little larger than life. Right now, he's 5 away from Lee Smith in saves. And, 473 to 422, Billy Wagner. Active leader right now in that stat. Kenley's got some playoff success, unlike Billy Wagner. Just wanted to point that out there. He's not the same guy, but if he compiles, if he's still good enough, and it looks like he is, let's say he gets to 500 next year. Keep him out. How are you going to keep him out?
I don't think he can at this point.
Yeah. So he's compiling his way. He's building that resume, and I'm happy for him. I love Kenley. Love that guy.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that just goes out there and does it year after year.
No one's noticing because he's on a mediocre Angels team
this year. Yeah, but he's had success in as you mentioned, the playoffs with.
I mean, he's not blowing everyone away. I think his ERA is in the 3s, but still.
Yeah, but the numbers, like I said, the big number there at the 500 number, I think is going to be one that gets attention when the voting happens for 5 years after he
won something in the playoffs, unlike Billy Wagner.
You do realize you have to answer to Dave on this.
I can answer to Dave on that. I've said that to Dave personally.
All right.
Billy Wagner, he knows
this point.
Dave and I can agree or disagree. We're okay with that. You and I can disagree. We're okay with that. You and Dave can disagree. That's the great thing about being men. We don't take things personally.
We have fun with it.
Sports.
It is nice. All right. Well, like I said, my other up is another Boston pitcher, and kind of mentioned him before we started here tonight, and that's Garrett Crochet, who's quietly having a Cy Young caliber season over there with the Red Sox. Currently, we're gonna go with that here. Currently leads the league in strikeouts. He had his second All-Star appearance this season. 26 years old, but has really been successful every season that he's played. A couple of seasons earlier with the White Sox, did lose a season to injury. So, he does have a little bit of a struggle there with making up for that lost season, but he's easily going to be top 5, possibly top 3 when Cy Young voting happens this fall here. But again, too, just a little bit more quiet season than maybe like somebody like a Tarek Skubal was having, who was getting a little more of the national attention with the Tigers. So just wanted to throw his name out there as somebody who's building his resume here with a very fine season.
I wonder how many people, when the first time they heard the name Tarek Skubal, thought he would look like Jafar from Aladdin. I was really disappointed that he didn't.
It's a different name for sure.
Sorry, I just
That's all right.
I know when two white guys sort of say that sounds awful, but oh yeah, I'm the only one who thought that.
Yeah.
Uh, I've got an elevator. Like, oh man, I wish this wasn't down. This is one of my favorite pitchers in the last 6 years, and I think much like yourself, when you're focused on one team, you don't always pay attention to like everything else that's sort of going around you. So Zack Wheeler didn't come into my radar until 2019, 2020. I didn't realize he was 36.
Yeah.
So Wheeler was somebody who I thought should have won the Cy Young. What year did I think he should have won that? 2021, I think. So he's a late bloomer. Didn't really come into his own until 2020. Already a runner-up twice for the Cy Young, and he was leading the NL in strikeouts this year. And now he's gone down with thoracic outlet surgery. I'm no medical expert by any stretch, but I know he's out for the year.
Yeah.
And this doesn't sound good. He might impact him for the years coming up.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily like the Tommy John where they kind of forecast a full year recovery or exactly what. I got the computer up here. I'll type it up. But no, that's kind of reminds me a little bit of the Rashawn Slater, where it's really nothing he did that it just kind of something happens
exactly. But he's later in his life.
He is, and didn't he say recently like he's only looking at doing maybe a couple more seasons or something like that? Like when his contract runs out, he wasn't gonna.
It's gonna be tricky putting in a guy who's didn't win a Cy Young, who's 113 and 75, not yet 2,000 strikeouts. He's at 1,820. And I have an elevator upcoming, which is going to be that ultimate test. But Wheeler is that guy because he didn't win that side. I think he was robbed one year. I truly believe that. And if anyone was sort of going to take over for Skins, and it very well could have been Wheeler this year.
Sure.
It's sort of heartbreaking. Obviously, if you're a Phillies fan, this is crushing you. Now that your top pitcher is down, but it's that's baseball, right? I mean, when I get to the next guy, sometimes you can win without your top gun.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can win a war without Maverick.
I don't know if I want to go into war without Maverick.
I was about to jump on my couch, but I thought I wasn't going. I decided not to. I don't really want to do a Tom Cruise impression. I want to look like Tom Cruise as I'm aging.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I'd rather be like Paul Rudd, but anyway.
All right, I got a baseball down here for you. Former Cy Young Award winner 2 years ago was the league leader in WAR for pitchers. Well, actually 3 years ago, but 2 seasons ago for him. Sandy Alcantara from Miami.
Yeah.
So 2022, he 8 WAR, Cy Young Award winner, top 10 MVP. 2023 down year, 2024 injured, and now 2025 he's a negative WAR player. And another guy will be, this is age 29 season. His name was being thrown about as a trade candidate before this season really kind of got going, simply because of the whole Miami, we can't pay players kind of things.
Yeah.
So really kind of put it as kind of in a hard spot here where I think this, like I said, going into age 30 with, even though he is a former Cy Young Award winner, it's going to be really difficult for him to come back and get back to that level enough to build a Hall of Fame resume going forward here.
The sad thing is too, like he's had a couple decent starts lately just to get to that not so bad negative WAR.
Yeah.
which is fascinating. Yeah. Sandy
Yeah.
Alcantara, or as people thought 3 years ago, future New York Yankee,
Yes.
or future, whichever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
team basically that if Chris could get his contraction rule put together, I would say yes, as long as you could do Miami 6 times.
now Miami once only,
Yeah.
and then 5 other teams. We'll go over that another day.
Another day. All right. So
We'll get what's his face on here, the Joker that runs the MLB, Manfred. Yeah, we'll get him on the
oh
show
yeah,
and
he'll come on my show.
we'll pitch it to him and
Yeah.
get him thinking here. Since
I'm
he's always one for crazy ideas.
I'm sure that's gonna happen. Oh, wait a minute. There's that pig flying right there. Holy crap. Um, okay, and I was stretching here, but I don't know if this is really an elevator up or maybe just my wishful thinking. And this sort of ties in with Wheeler, somebody who's over 35, but he did win a Cy Young and he was won it twice. And that's Jacob deGrom.
Hmm.
He is not yet at 100 wins. He's having a decent year, 11-7, 2.78 ERA. But I'm looking at this. If I've got a guy who's got 2 Cy Youngs and he's got, after 1,522 innings pitched, a whip under 1, a whip under 1.
Yeah.
That's rarefied air.
Yes.
I don't know that I can't keep him out. So you compare him to, I should have looked this up before we went on. Tim Lincecum won 2 Cy Youngs, right?
I believe he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
But
I got
Lincecum wasn't as good in his peak as deGrom was at his. And I know deGrom didn't, I know technically he won a World Series, which is weird, right? Texas won what I said earlier without the top gun.
Yeah.
And he didn't even play that whole year, if I remember correctly. With the Rangers.
Right.
It's a fascinating sabermetric question. And there's going to be a lot of those math geeks more so than not who are going to look at that. Felix Hernandez is on. Did he get past the first ballot? I think so, right?
Yeah, I believe he had enough
Okay.
vote support to stay on the ballot.
So if he stays on the ballot, and I got somebody who had less of a sample size, but his peak was actually better, what do you do?
Yeah, you talk about him until you talk yourself into him.
Possibly. He's to me the most fascinating candidate once he becomes eligible.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be
he's still producing.
He is, yeah. It's gonna be a more of a new age versus traditional comparison with him, because he is, as you mentioned, the saber darling, as opposed to one of these older school players, the 300 wins, 3,000 strikeouts kind of.
Never see again.
Well, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Pitchers. So it's going to be interesting. All you can do is just kind of keep watching him.
Verlander and Kershaw are the old Hoss Radbourne of this era. Neither of them are at 260.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we'll never see a 300 winner again.
No.
260, 270, when they finally decide that enough's enough, will probably be the
unless they change the rule of what a win is.
Whereas you don't have to go 5 innings anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know, the way they're playing the game today, it's different. I don't know that I wouldn't put it past them to do that.
Might as well.
But the other thing too is you have a lot of these teams now that are building in disabled list stints for these players, going with 6-man rotations where 4 and 5-man rotations in the past were kind of the norm. So you're already limiting the number of times they even start a game. So it'll be interesting to see what they
Bench is only
do.
4
But
players deep now.
what's that?
Bench is only 4 players deep now.
Oh, right, because they're carrying so many
Yeah.
bullpen arms, basically. That's a weird place the game's at, in my opinion, with the way it is. I think they need. I would love to see them go back to the building these pitchers' arms up when they're younger, as opposed to trying to do their best to preserve them in pristine condition.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to be helping because how many of them are undergoing Tommy John or thoracic outlets
Time ago, back
surgery?
in our fuck, it feels old, but really back in our 20s and teens, right?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have a plethora of hurlers who could go over 100. And the bottom line is, human body's not meant to do that.
Yeah, there was, Bob Feller maybe was one that was always thought that he was throwing 100. Nolan Ryan, J.R. Richard down in Houston back in the
Richard
80s.
burned out.
Yeah. Oh, he unfortunately stroked out.
Yeah.
Real sad story there with him, because another example of what could have been there with his career, because he was a dominant pitcher there. Big guy, could throw 100, and I just wish he could have seen what happened with his career. But nowadays, pretty much everybody's hitting. Well, not everybody, but the majority of your pitching staff's hitting 100 miles an hour. You're constantly rolling these guys out of the bullpen every other inning. That's bringing in fresh arm to throw that, and it's the game is just power against power. I'll throw it 100 miles an hour. You'll swing the bat as hard as you can, and if you're close your eyes and you hit the ball and it goes 400 feet, you prance around the bases like you just won some kind of military battle or whatever. I'm watching something in the background here, but
Okay, let's pull up. You and I both will pull up our pants right to here. But anyway,
that's right.
Yeah.
But
right. I got one left. I think you got one left.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. I like that one, though, deGrom, though. That's gonna be a fun one to watch. Yeah, I got one more down left. Oh shit. Name that's gonna be a little bit out there, not one of the more well-known names, and that's Tanner Beebe from the Cleveland Indians.
Okay.
He was a younger player, had rookie season in 2023, was second in the rookie of the year voting. Came back 2024 and had a really solid year. ERA ticked up a little bit, but so did a lot of the other numbers. 2025, he's just really kind of struggled all season. And
good one. Yeah.
He's again another player, 26 years old. This is his 26-year season, and took a step back, really is the easy way to put it. And he's really going to need to kind of come back and replicate his rookie season here numbers to get back into the conversation with getting some Cy Young votes at the end of the season, and possibly an all-star selection mid-season there with Cleveland. So
okay, I don't know, that's a good one. My last one's sort of similar, although I probably, if we were doing this for multiple years, I would have had him before, but I didn't realize he was this old, because he doesn't look that old. Darvish. He's 39. I didn't realize he was 39.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So he's with San Diego right now, and this year's been crap.
Yep.
3-5, 5.75 ERA. He's pretty much washed at this point. So if the book is closed, and I think it pretty much is, we're looking at 113 wins with a WAR of 33. Cy Young runner-up twice. That's not. There's not enough gas left, period, for him to make any kind of Tim Wakefield push.
Sure.
He's not that type of pitcher. And it's what you mentioned, San Diego earlier, just like that's my soft spot.
Yeah.
In baseball is always the San Diego Padres. and probably because my early love as a kid for Tony Gwynn.
Yeah.
But it's not really an elevator down, or just something that I'm realized, oh, the elevator is not there. That's
Yeah.
personal realization, because I honestly did not know he was 39.
Sure. I pulled up his baseball reference page here as you were discussing him, and obviously Japanese player, spent his first 7 seasons in the Japanese league there. So came over first, was 25 when he came over. So that
well, which makes it even so much more impressive. Sorry, just you're living in Seattle, just realizing what Ichiro was able to do, and
yeah,
someone's going to have to explain it like I'm 5. I'm sure it's a very simple explanation why there's a rule in the Japanese league, and I guess in the Taiwanese and Korean leagues too. I don't know that for sure. Why they can't just be an automatic free agent.
Yeah, sign when they're 18, 19, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know why that is.
Yeah,
I guess there's an agreement to keep that league strong, whereas I guess in the Dominican there isn't a very strong league, and they just say, okay, we're going to keep your winter league strong.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I can really think of, because when I was talking to my new Dominican friend Gil, shout out Gil, how you doing? Like pretty much you're rushing to sign when you're 16. With any of those teams, so like I would just find that fascinating, why they can't do that. But I guess it's not like you want to destroy those leagues either. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure maybe it's just the way I described. I've never looked into it that much. I've never talked to anybody there. I just thought of it now. So there you go.
Yeah, so I think some of it is there's definitely a culture of pride, wanting to play at home and in front of their.
Sure, but you can make more money here, right? So
I believe so. And maybe, I mean, if they're getting paid as professional players at 18 and are in the top league, as opposed to an 18-year-old here that's kicking around in Arizona or Florida.
That is true. I mean, you got to wait before you can get that free agent money too. So
yeah. So
it could be a little bit of Fame purposes, though, because the Hall of Fame will only look at what you do here,
right?
Which is accurate. I remember like 4 years ago, I kind of lost my shit because there was an article, I want to say in USA Today, by this one author. I'll say artist because it was fucking fiction. Where it's like, they really should sort of consider everything that somebody does in Japan for the Baseball Hall of Fame. Experts say this. And then it's like, I'm reading the article. What a bullshit article that was. It does say National Baseball Hall of Fame. And not to be xenophobic, because Asian wife, I don't want to be, but that's not what the Hall of Fame sort of does. Would I like to see Sadaharu O sort of recognize something in Cooperstown? I think that'd be kind of cool. Does he have to be? No.
Right.
In the Japanese Baseball Hall of Fame, how many Americans who sort of brought baseball to Japan are in their Hall of Fame? Would you like to take a guess?
0.
You are correct, sir.
Hey.
So I mean, it's not entitled. So like the article was sort of like why Hideki Matsui should be considered. Like, no. You can't consider what he did somewhere else. I'd like to. And if we have a World Baseball Hall of Fame, abso-fucking-lutely.
There's your next project.
No. More projects. I've got enough projects. I've already come up with, I thought of this idea of sort of coming up with, could I build together a baseball team that could win a World Series of players from their years after 40? I know I can't do it in any other sport than baseball. And I think I could. You, me, and Tubbs will work on it. Tubbs, if you're watching, you're being voluntold to be part of that.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah. Could you? I think you could. Maybe
one season. Take your best post 40 season.
Okay, so yeah, all right. We're talking now. So just we're just shooting the shit off the top of our head.
Yeah.
So you'd have Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
When did Roger Clemens win his last Cy Young?
Oh, give me a sec here. He was 41. He won it in Houston in 2004.
So we're taking him that year.
Yeah.
So just the years of people who turned over 40. I mean, our fielding would be terrible.
Warren Spahn had a second runner-up Cy Young at 40.
All right, so our pitching staff will be fine. It's just our batting, I think we can find enough.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of bunting. We're in trouble.
Yeah, defense maybe.
Defense will be a real problem.
Yeah, could be, but hey, all our pitchers will just strike everybody out. So screw defense.
And no, Barry Bonds could still play now.
I probably could.
He probably still could come off the bench and get 20 home runs.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. I looked at that and looked at that. Hey, could I do that in football? I'd have a lot of quarterbacks and kickers.
Yeah, like the occasional offensive lineman that just kept kicking around like the guy from the Rams, most recent guy.
Oh, Slater.
Yeah.
Jackie Slater.
Yeah.
You're talking about Slater before. Yeah.
So
and I think it might be possible to sort of put something like that together. But again, like you said, I need another project.
Let's hey, we just came up with a great show for the winter when we're waiting for something to happen.
I'm pumped for the Winter Olympics because we're gonna run it back, buddy.
We are?
Oh, Canada.
Oh, you think so, huh?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see. Good luck finding a goaltender.
Don't need one, apparently. Don't need one. All we have to do is just sort of be good enough.
Mm-hmm.
You can have Hellebuck.
Mm-hmm.
Whamp, whamp. Anyway, before this sort of degenerates even further, we'll close this off. Finishing off, as we always say, check out the United States Athletic Hall of Fame, www.theusahof.com. Help us decide who's the part of the third United States American Hall of Fame class of the greatest athletes that have ever existed.
Athletes, coaches, and
sports.
Yeah, athletes, coaches, and contributors.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jordan Hudson is not a contributor yet. Maybe we can nominate her. Oh, but she's not 50. If she was 50, Belichick wouldn't date her.
But who is a contributor out there? Burt Bell. Burt Bell's a contributor, one of the early commissioners of the NFL. Somebody very instrumental in helping grow the league. Speaking of NFL, Ralph Hay, the guy that helped basically organize and start the NFL
voting right now.
Yes, so those are the kind of guys we're looking at for the contributors, and give them some attention when you're voting for the players too.
We're the people who inducted. You're the people, not us, who inducted Frank Zamboni. You know what Zamboni is? The good old hockey. Yeah, the only hockey representative we have.
Which is disappointing as a big hockey fan like yourself.
But for the USA, is it?
I mean, we got Brett Hull's on the ballot this year. Chris Chelios, Mike Badano.
This is one of the greatest hot inventions of all sports.
It is.
And Brett Hull, with all due respect, I like Brett Hull.
Mm-hmm.
Brett Hull, Frank Zamboni doesn't have to compete with Hank Aaron.
No, he doesn't. Yeah,
it's not the same.
No, Frank Zamboni had to compete with Dr. James Andrews, and who actually also was selected by the fans last year.
It's a fascinating process, and just one of those things where we're looking at a lot of people that you would normally think of, even in baseball. Oh, Barry Bonds is not in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He's not really eligible. Well, he is, but it's in ours. Pete Rose is doing really good in year 3. We'll see.
Yeah.
My first big interview, Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see if we'll see if our fans get him in our Hall of Fame, if that kind of helps propel him into the Baseball Hall of Fame next chance he has.
Not a chance, but anyway. That's okay. It's okay. Wherever you are, or wherever you may be, make today count because it never comes again. Take care, everyone.